Is Nobuo Uematsu actually retiring? If he has, what does this mean for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3? Will he still compose the main theme like he did in Remake and Rebirth? What does this mean for Sakaguchi's next game that he's already confirmed is in development? Will Nobuo Uematsu be contributing music to that project? Is this the end? Well, recently, a short clip was uploaded to X where he had this to say.
ファンタジアンがですね、12月5日発売が決定いたしました。僕のゲーム音楽としての最後の作品となります。ぜひ買って遊んでください。よろしくお願いします。
So, it seems that he is in fact confirming his retirement here. Now, I say confirming because he has mentioned in the past that Fantasian may be his last full soundtrack. He was more or less implying before that it could be his last soundtrack, expressing a modicum of doubt. However, now he's saying it is. He didn't leave any legroom here, so unless he's lying, I think it's safe to say that this is his last soundtrack, or at least full soundtrack. He didn't clarify in this post whether he might still contribute individual tracks for some other projects occasionally, if at all, but given that he has said in the past that he may not have the strength to commit to doing a full video game soundtrack, I think it's pretty safe bet that he's not completely done composing music. So I think this likely means he'll still compose the main theme to Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. And I don't just say this purely out of a gut feeling. There's evidence he will. Listen to this.
もうせっかくというよりはもう1作2作目やっちゃった以上3作目上山さんじゃないっていうオチはまあありえないのでまだ正式なオファーはしてないですけど仮押さえということでやってもらえますよねっていう会社の正式なオファーじゃないからただ俺の口約束みたいな感じになっちゃうんだけどやってもらうってことで大丈夫ですよねっていう。
僕はもう光栄ですよ。本当に。
野島さんはもうやってるからね。3作目一緒に。そうか。そうかそうか。そうもう始まってるんで。
いやいやもう光栄ですね。そう言っていただけてね。
So he was asked by Nomura during this podcast if he would work on Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. And again, he didn't say he was going to per se, but he did say he was honored to even be asked. In my personal opinion, I think that means a yes, but of course, he's not going to say that on camera. So the next question is, will he work on Sakaguchi's next project? Now, if you didn't know, Sakaguchi has already confirmed that he's working on some dark fantasy project. And if you need even more evidence that this is true, it has been discovered that Mistwalker trademarked a title called Fantasian Dark Edge. So that definitely lines up with what he said. And to be honest, I don't think Nobuo Uematsu will be heading up the soundtrack this time, unfortunately. If the man says Fantasian Neo Dimension is his last full soundtrack, I think that means that's his last full soundtrack. And this would mark the first game that Sakaguchi has developed, maybe ever, that Uematsu wasn't the sole composer for. That's kind of the end of an era and a little sad, to be honest. However, there's a bit of a silver lining to this, which is that he could still be writing the main theme composition for the game. And Sakaguchi is for sure a very networked guy on the Japanese side of the video game industry, and he has worked with other famed music composers before. Both Yasunori Mitsuda and Yoko Shimomura have contributed music to Terra Battle as part of some DLC, so there's a good chance that he'll still have someone particularly talented heading up the soundtrack for his next game, even if it's not Uematsu himself. Still, it's a little hard for me personally to not feel a little sad at this announcement. Uematsu's work means more to me than I think I can even describe. I listen to a lot of video game music, and specifically a lot of JRPG music from a variety of games. I even have a series of playlists that I have made myself that are just top 50 battle songs from RPGs, top 50 town songs from RPGs, etc. And those are basically my go-to playlists when I'm cooking, cleaning, driving, and doing other menial tasks that I do throughout the day. So I spend a lot of time listening to RPG music, and many of the songs that have made those playlists are the work of Nobuo Uematsu. In short, Uematsu's work is pretty much a part of my daily life, and that's not hyperbole. And it's not just when doing menial tasks. I will often just sit and listen to his music for, well, the sake of listening. Whether it's for inspiration to write, or sometimes I'll find some music of his to listen to that reflects whatever my current mood is. His music has pretty much always been there for me since I was a little kid, all the way into my adulthood, and has affected my life in a way that's hard to articulate. I don't want to get too emotional in this video, as the man isn't dying, despite having some health issues in the past that we don't really know anything about, and to be fair, isn't really any of our business. But he still likely has some more to give, so he isn't done yet, but rather slowing down. But even if he does stop entirely, the music he's already given me is so much that I can't really complain. Instead, I think it's important to, in very simple words, say, thank you, Uematsu-san.